Hey friends, I am Ashley from The Rural Companion, and I have a really exciting thing to share with you today. Let's go. Okay, so I have been literally waiting for this box all day long. Our FedEx truck typically delivers in the morning time, and for whatever reason, maybe summer schedules have changed or something, but the driver just dropped off our box of school materials for next school year. So let me tell you a little bit of our homeschool plans for next school year, as well as what we've done in the past, as well as I will go through and show you exactly what's in the box as I open it up. So what we are doing next school year, my oldest will be in 8th grade, my youngest will be in 7th grade. I have 2 middle schoolers. We have homeschooled from the very beginning, and I mean from the beginning. And we have followed a Charlotte Mason style homeschool. Typically each year I use Ambleside online for book recommendations, and then I use most of the books from there, and then I tweak it to fit our homeschool needs. I have kept my kids on the same year because, well, quite frankly, it's easier to do that than to do 2 different schedules. Last year, I swerved off of Ambleside's curriculum recommendations or book lists, and I created my own for Oklahoma history. We followed along Route 66. We did a lot of hands-on activities, field trips. We just traveled around our state and learned about the history of Oklahoma. It was super fun. This upcoming school year, so starting in August, we will be jumping way back to ancient civilizations. Again, I am going to be creating this homeschool year completely by myself, not following Ambleside online. So everything in the box, as well as our supplemental living book choices, are things that I have gone through and picked, just like I did for this past school year for Oklahoma history. So why am I jumping off of Ambleside, and are we still following Charlotte Mason's methods? The short answer is yes, we are still following Charlotte Mason, a homeschool style. We are in, goodness, this will be our 8th school year that we have done, and at this point, my feet are totally wet and I am good. I have learned how to follow the curriculum, how to pick books. I have learned how to not pick books, and I figured that this year is probably the last year where I can really completely 100% create my own curriculum for the year, or not curriculum, just book list rather, for the entire year before we get into high school. I will be going back to Ambleside once my kiddos get into high school, so I thought this would be one last fun year where I can fully pick all of the books. Now for the fun part, let's see what is in the box. Sorry, that kind of reminds me, oops, let's go this way. That kind of reminds me of Barney. Remember that? Sorry, I've been dating myself in the past couple videos. Barney had his art box, and they would see what treasures they could find in their box. Okay, so of course this box is, let me tell you where it's from. This box is from Rainbow Resources. They are a homeschool supply, like resource shipment company. They have pretty much every book that I've ever needed, all of the Christian, let's see, so like your boxed homeschool kits, they have all the way to just the individual pieces of your homeschool. So I haven't looked inside this box, and I'll just pull it out as we go. Okay, so of course we've got our shipping or package list. So we'll see if everything's in there too. Oh, okay, number one, check this out. Color coup, like Sudoku, but with colors. I thought this would be really fun for my logic-loving kiddo. This has really nothing to do with our curriculum other than it looked really fun, and I kind of wanted to play too. Okay, so we have Make It Work Ancient Egypt, Make It Work the Roman Empire. These are some hands-on activities for each of those two ancient groups. They did not have one for ancient Greece, which is the other one that we'll be deep diving into. So for that year, I do have something slightly different, not quite as cool as these, but I'm excited to try these out. Okay, so we have, I was just looking for the rest of the Latin. There's several books in here for Latin. Let's see. Okay, here it is. Okay, so we have Latin. This will be the first form Latin. We have been working our way through the Memoria Press Latin curriculums each year. They are technically more of a classical style of education, not technically Charlotte Mason, but they definitely overlap. There's tons of overlap between those two styles. Obviously, the timeline or time period of both curriculums. This Latin we have really loved. It took us probably a good year and a half to really understand why Latin is important. If you have not started on Latin in your homeschool, I would urge you to get into Latin. It's actually really cool. This particular curriculum comes with CDs, which that one looks like it's popped out. So for a pronunciation guide, if you are not able to speak Latin on your own, they come with a CD as well as the student. So you've got the student text, the student workbook, and the CD. Our last set also had a DVD, which we haven't even watched yet, but I think it's like the actual class. And I did finally buy a Latin English dictionary, which I think this would come in handy for just looking through and finding the words, maybe if we are reading something and haven't learned that word yet. Ooh, okay, fun. Okay, so we also are going to be, like I said, we're going through the ancient civilizations, focusing heavy on ancient Egypt, ancient Greece, and ancient Rome. I found this from Memoria Press. It is a famous men of Greece. I believe it's just a text that kind of goes through each of the, I don't know, stories of that time period. It does seem, it's probably not technically Charlotte Mason style, but I think it's probably very similar. I am really excited, but we have enjoyed everything from Memoria Press, so I have pretty good hopes for it. I also bought the student guide. I'm not sure if we will use it completely. It does get a little heavy on the dates and questions and vocabulary and things like that, which we don't normally do. That's not really Charlotte Mason-y. So we probably won't use this completely, maybe just a few things for review or for narration prompts. I also got the, let's see, so, I got 2 student guides. Interesting. Okay, I also got the Famous Men of Rome set as well. And that one, it's very similar. Let's see if I got the student guides. Okay, so here's the student guide. Okay, another fabulous thing that I got. Now we have done this series, one book from this series over, I don't know, maybe the past 4 years, give or take. Probably when my oldest was maybe in 3rd grade, I found out about this series. Yeah, that's about right. The Draw the World series, Art K-12 by Kristen J. Drager. Definitely highly recommend this book. She literally walks you through step by step how to draw. This one is the entire world, but depending on which series you buy, she has it one for the United States. So you learn how to draw each of the United States. You learn how to draw each of Europe, Asia, all around. So is just a fabulous series. So by the end of the book, you can draw the entire world. I think this has been really instrumental in my kids learning geography. Again, not necessarily a Charlotte Mason book, but it is excellent for learning geography, and I have enjoyed it too. Okay, so remember I said I had gotten something slightly different for the Greece. It's really just a coloring book. It's not crafts or anything like that. So we'll probably look up some fun hands-on activities to do throughout the school year, but I thought these were really cool. Just some of like the pictures that go along with, I'm sure, the stories that we will be reading. Just really neat. We can either use watercolor pencils, markers, crayons, paint, etc. I think these will turn out really neat. Okay, another thing I got was a student Bible atlas because we will be going through ancient civilizations. I thought it would be pretty nifty to see how much of that ties into scripture. Of course, Charlotte Mason is heavy in scripture, and I thought that would just be the best way to bring that all together. And of course, timelines will match up. Here is another book from the Latin. Okay, here's more from the Latin. We've got the teacher key, the tests and quizzes, as well as a teacher manual. I really actually just bought the entire First Form Latin bundle. We don't typically go through all of this, but I think as the kids get older, using quizzes and tests are pretty handy. And Charlotte Mason does have an option for that. At the end of each term, you would do a exam week. So that will probably take a place into that. Let's see what's else in here. This is fun. Okay, I also bought 2 timelines, one for each kid. Now, over the past, from the very beginning of our homeschool journey, we have created our own timeline on cardstock where it's just a hand drawn and then the kids pencil in. It's fabulous. I love it, but I thought it would be really neat for the kids to create their own. And actually that is more of a Charlotte Mason recommendation, that she does encourage each child to keep their own timeline. And we have just done kind of a family one for the past several, 7 years. So this will be fun just for each kid to make their own. I do have it on our schedule each week for them to specifically mark something, at least one thing from their learning throughout the week onto their timeline, and it will literally just be their very own timeline. Hopefully it will be a treasure to them, as I know our family one is really neat to look back at. This book is from the Master Books. It is a living history style textbook of sorts. From what I have looked through, it is a very Charlotte Mason-esque, and it does have not only the student text, but it also has the teacher guide. So again, more worksheets. It does give you kind of the layout. This I'm just going to be using as our main text for the school year, in addition to all of the great read alouds that I have. I will show you those in a little bit because it's just going to be a lot of books. So this one, I am really excited to try this, though. I thought as the kids get older, it might be a little handy for them to have a specific, just all-in-one text type of history book. Okay, we are also going to be doing Apologia Physical Science. Last year we borrowed a I think it was just general science, like a middle school book from Apologia from a friend. It was really neat. One of my kiddos absolutely loved it and could not wait for more science. And one of my kiddos really didn't care for it. So we'll go ahead and go through the book. I think it would be really helpful if we start at the beginning of the year and work through the entire book. With the book that we had borrowed, I literally just planned to do a handful of the lessons, and it seemed like maybe that just didn't give us enough exposure to it. So I'm excited to see how this goes. Obviously, as the kids get into high school, they do have to have science credits, so that's why we're adding it. And Apologia is a Christian worldview science curriculum. From what we read in the last book, it was pretty good. And finally, we have Matthew C, Algebra 1. So Matthew C, we came across a couple years ago for math. I am so thankful that we switched to Matthew C, and honestly wish I would have started with them from the very beginning. It has just been a game changer for my math disliking child, to the point where they actually enjoy math, and it is not pulling teeth every time it's time to do math during the school week. So this kit, I just bought the I think it was the Level Up bundle, because we already have the blocks, which for the 6th and 7th grade, so this will be the 8th grade, essentially the 8th grade year. But for 6th and 7th, they really hardly used the block set anyway, so we didn't need them. But this kit or bundle comes with the student workbook, the test book, it comes with the DVDs with the teacher on it. This has been my favorite, hiring out another teacher to teach math. And then, of course, the instruction manual. So math looks like, for in our home, day 1, they watch the lesson and do the first lesson in the book. Day 2, they read the lesson and do the second lesson in the book. And then the subsequent days, they refer back to the lesson text if needed. And so far, but maybe as we get higher up in math, I do encourage the kids, if they really need to, they can always go back and rewatch the lesson. Something that we have not done is implement the testing, which I am excited to see how that works out for this upcoming school year. I know my kiddos will rock it because they do really great in math. So that is what I got from Rainbow Resource. Once I get the rest of our books that I ordered from Thrift Books, all of our living books, like our read alouds, personal reads, things that just supplement the books, I will share all of those with you, and it probably will be in the next several days. So don't expect me to look just like this. Okay, I'll see you in a little bit. It has been a handful of days since my first portion of this video, and I am pretty certain that I have received the rest of our Thrift Books order for our homeschool year. I keep meaning to pull up my order list and make sure that I did in fact get everything, and I still haven't done that. And my kiddos are saying maybe we missed 1 or 2 things. So we'll have to go back and check on that, but in no particular order, I am going to show you what came in our Thrift Books order. I'm going to tell you right now, it is a lot of books. We again are going through ancient Egypt, ancient Greece, and ancient Rome next year. I purchased 1 book for me to read aloud during our literature time. I purchased 1 book for poetry readings based on those, civilizations or time periods. And then I purchased at least 1 book for each of the children to read independently. They're definitely fun reads, just kind of to tie in to our theme. The kiddos have been trying to sneak them out of my pile, and I keep fighting them for them to make sure that they stay over here. Okay, so let's get started. I'll try to go through this fast. We have Diary of Dorcas Maximus in Pompeii. Somehow I accidentally got 2 of these, so you'll see this later in the pile. Mystery of the Egyptian Scroll. Temple Cat. Ancient Egyptian Poetry and Prose. This one is our poetry book for ancient Egypt. Obviously, we are not going through all of this. I just went through and selected a handful of neat, I guess, poems to read. Not all of them are poems, but The Thieves of Ostia. A Garden of Greek Verse. Again, our poetry book for ancient Greece. Tales of Ancient Egypt. This is our read aloud for the Ancient Egypt section. We really enjoy Roger Lancelin Green books, and I'm excited for this one as well. Who Let the Gods Out? This one is actually not part of our school year, but I'll go ahead and show it. More Charlotte Mason Education. This will just be my personal read. The Children's Homer for our ancient Greece section. The Roman Mysteries. There's that other book. Fleeced. The Eyes of Pharaoh. And now for the last few books in our pile. I have a lot of books, guys. This one I had purchased last year. Sometimes we'll do this with an audio version. It's available on your whatever your podcast app is. I use Podcast Addict. And it's run through LibriVox, so you could also just go to their website and get it for free, and it reads through each of these. What I love about the children's versions of Shakespeare, one, it's not as long, it gives you a really good summary, and while it still does use large words, big language, great ideas, it is a smidge easier to understand, and we all have enjoyed a lot of Shakespeare this way from the Lambs. There is another one, and I'll have to look for it. It's by Edith Nesbit, and that's another great children's author of Shakespeare. Well, just a children's author, and then she also rewrote Shakespeare books. We will be going through Elizabeth Elliot's this series, Christian Heroes Then and Now. I have read a handful of these to the kiddos. We try to do at least 1 or 2 missionary stories throughout our school year, and I have found that while there are great biographies written by the missionaries themselves or by other people that would be qualified as a living book, I have found that these are a great summary of the missionaries' lives. It also makes sure that I don't need to pre-read or read ahead. Sometimes the missionaries go through some real life experiences, and this just gives us a slightly, more child-friendly version of the stories. I do have Elizabeth Elliot's book, Through the Gates of Splendor, that will be read, I want to say it was Ambleside's 9th or 10th grade year, and I will still have the kids read that. We have read a book about Nate Saint, and we have watched, I think it's the Torchlighters. They have the videos about missionaries, and we've watched, I think it was the Jim Elliot video from that one. Great story. We, again, love to just read about missionaries because it not only inspires us to share the gospel in our daily life, but it reminds us that some people live out their faith in a more extreme way, and we need to do that too. So if you haven't checked the series out, there's, goodness, I want to say there's like 40 or so in the series. So you'll find a missionary or a country that you would love to read about. Okay, one of my kiddos is going to be working on cursive. My other kiddo is well beyond cursive, and this is kind of a wild card. We're going to be going through tattoo lettering. I just thought this book was actually really cool. It has a variety of handwriting styles. Hopefully you can see these. And I just think, goodness, it's just really fun. I'm sure it's not like a future job thing, but if it is, hey, we finished it. So, like, look at that. How fun. So for my kiddo that loves handwriting and unique letters and art and stuff like that, I thought this would be a really neat way to just continue handwriting practice, even though we've already kind of gone through all of it with her. Later in the school year, we will be going through Fox's Book of Martyrs once we finish the Elizabeth Elliot book. This one has, oh my goodness, it's a ton of stories over the centuries of just Christian saints, martyrs, people that have gone before us and fought for the freedoms that we have now. I know that this is a really old book, and I do try to jump in to a couple old books each school year, not a lot, because you really only need one or two of them. I think of them as like steak books. They're just really meaty, really chewy, and you don't want to eat a ton of it. So we'll go through this really slowly, starting at the end of this upcoming school year and probably finish it out throughout the following school year. I also have this book, and we just go through this as we have time, or sometimes I'll do once a week. Sometimes I do the same hymn multiple times for the span of several weeks. This one is from Demi Learning, or Building Faith Families. The Demi Learning store, maybe? Well, they're connected, but it's the same company that does the math you see, and they have a variety of curricula that you can purchase from them. And this one is just a hymn. So on one side you have the sheet music, the words, and then on the other side you have a little bit of history about the hymn. Sometimes I will read the entire thing if it's short, or sometimes I will take the span of several days to read through it. The book, the Hymns for Family Worship book, also comes with a CD with all of the music. We have found that they are a little high for our vocal ranges, so we typically just sing a cappella. Sometimes my daughter will play for us while we sing, and that just depends, but again, it's the music that's in the book, so it is higher. It just depends on the song, or if we know it, I guess if she knows it enough to play it while we sing. Okay, so I think I have summed up pretty much everything that book-wise we will be going through next school year. I will be, I think, doing maybe a handful of videos over the summer to share not only how I'm going to put all this together, which I've already started planning, and also give you some information on the extras that we do, so not just books throughout the school year. And also I'm thinking I'll go through and share the Charlotte Mason, methodology and why we do that, how it looks in our modern life, as well as our homeschool. And then probably as we get into maybe the second or third week of the school year, I will also give a day in the life, or a homeschool day throughout, or maybe even just a homeschool week. I'm not really sure. But if any of those sound appealing to you, please mention that in the comment section below so I can get those videos going. I'll try to do them in order that maybe they're requested or based on questions that you have. I would also love to know what you are planning for your homeschool for next year, or maybe if you like to take the summer off and you don't plan until August. I would love to hear that. Thank you so much for watching this video. I look forward to sharing all of this with you over the next coming months and hearing from you. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.